Aloha and hello. Welcome to Holy Matrimony. I'm James Fenimore.
And I'm Trisha Fenimore.
That's at James Fenimore _
And at Trisha Fenimore. And you can find the show at Holy Matrimony __. You can also reach us via email at holymatrimonypod@gmail.com for all your questions and stories.
And we're the Fenimores on Rumble and YouTube. That's where you'll find the full episodes if you want to watch on video. Today we're brought to you by Sex Ed Reclaimed. Have you ever wondered how to talk to your kids about sex but don't quite have the words? Sex Ed Reclaimed has you covered with age-appropriate content made just for your family. Get curriculum that covers all the hard topics from a faith-based worldview. Kristen Miele has educated tens of thousands of students in multiple countries to encourage organic conversations within families about a gift God created. This education was made for such a time as this, so find your curriculum today at sexedreclaimed.com. All right, today we're going to be talking about that age-old myth that marriage is boring or keeps you from doing things. You know, that old ball and chain adage. What? I didn't say it. I said we're going to be debunking it.
We're debunking it. It's full of lies.
The way you were looking at me, I was like, I don't know. Well, maybe there's something here. I don't know.
It's usually the wife who's referred to as the ball and chain, which is, you know, what's the husband in that scenario?
I don't know. I'm trying to debunk it here. I'm saying it's not a real thing.
I'm not a ball and chain. So let's talk about it.
Okay, let's talk about it. I feel attacked.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to attack. I think I take personally the whole like marriage is boring thing because it's so not true and it's so prevalent in the world, right?
Of course.
Like it's all like, be single, go out there, be out there, get crazy.
So who's this? Who am I seeing here?
Society.
Society?
I am society.
Is that a name?
This is my society.
This could actually be a name of a person with today's names, the way we name people. So society. Hi, society.
Spelled with a Z and a silent Q.
So hello, society.
Society said, you know, look at the reality TV shows. You know, it like glamorizes all these ideas of being out there and crazy. And honestly, it reminds me of an old Chris Rock bit. So I'm a big stand-up comic fan or stand-up comedy fan.
You're not going to get us. This isn't like the Michael Scott thing. You're not going to get us canceled, right?
No, but as a fan of The Office, I love that poll.
I mean, we open with aloha and hello. Have you not figured this is episode 4? You haven't figured out that yet? No?
And so anyway, so Chris Rock talks about this whole thing of like, marriage is boring and, you know, it's exciting to be out there. And he's like, you know, the only relationships that are exciting are bad ones. Like, there is something to, not boringness, but like, predictability and stability being valuable. He's like, you know what's really exciting is, hey honey, I gambled away our house. Or like, oh honey, my mother's moving in and by the way, I didn't tell you. You know, like these are exciting things, but I think sometimes we conflate exciting with good or, you know, things like that. And I love your mother. I just use that as an example. But I'm just saying, you know, sometimes we think of exciting as like, oh, exciting. But exciting is also really, it can be very dysfunctional and very chaotic. So I think that in addition to saying that marriage isn't boring, we should also say that that exciting life that's being promoted is not all good excitement.
I think I should also say that regardless of whether or not you love my mom, if I just invited her to move in without talking to you,
it wouldn't be appreciated.
That's probably wrong.
Maybe crossing a boundary a little bit.
Yeah.
Maybe, you know.
Yeah. So I think we're good. But there are other things, not just the boring thing. Like there are the, you know, the one partner for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
And you know, you're never going to get to do anything fun again.
Yeah.
Or you're always going to have to ask for permission.
Yeah.
It's like you have a hall monitor or something at home, or like another parent, babysitter. These are very silly. You know, I think that if you're going to look at marriage this way, first of all, you're probably not ready to get married, or if you're currently dating or engaged to somebody, or heaven forbid, actually married, and this is how you're looking at marriage, you might not be with the right person. Because if you are with the right person, I don't think this is how you look at marriage.
But I also think that some of those ignorant thoughts and kind of patterns could be things that, you know, you've seen or have been passed down that you weren't really conscious of. And so you're interpreting things in a certain way that might not actually be there. So I don't want to say everyone's in the wrong marriage if that's the case. You know what I mean?
Oh,
like,
for sure.
In some cases, we need to look at our patterning and like how we're interpreting things.
And by the way, in the moment, I think everybody has like a feeling that's fleeting, that they could feel like, oh,
yeah.
you know, like, we're not talking about like a one-off feeling.
No.
We're talking about the consistent, you know, people that are either preaching this or, you know, having this message or feeling this way all the time.
And I think that there's a popular myth that's like marriage holds you back from living this great abundant life.
Yeah, and you know, we have talked about this before. I'm of the belief that, you know, marriage should and does supercharge you. It basically pushes you to that next level because it gives you the ability now to go after your dream or go after stuff together, and it gives you that support system that can push you to that next level and take you to heights that you never thought possible. You know, so if there's that dream job that you wanted to go after, now you have a support system, a real support system, somebody that's going to encourage you and push you there. Now, look, I'm not telling you to be irresponsible. I'm not telling you to just like, you know, quit your job because your husband or your wife has another career that they could support you with. But if you talk about it together and you can go after something, now you have somebody that you can lean on and maybe push you to that next level, make you better, help make them better. You're a team, and doing things as a team, I mean, way better than doing things on your own.
Well, I know in our relationship, I've become so much more confident as a result of like being with you and like our relationship as a whole. And there's that whole part of the Bible, and forgive me if I misquote the numbers, but it's like 1 can chase 100, but 2 can send 10,000 to flight. And it's basically saying this exponential power that exists in a team, you know, with 2 people joined together is so much stronger than just one. And I see that in our marriage. And I hope, you know, for everybody that they see that in their marriage where like you're stronger and more confident with your partner. And in that way, it does the opposite of hold us back. It actually propels us forward and inspires us to change in ways that we want to grow in and expand and try new things and all of that.
100%. And regarding some of these other little sayings, I think you got to reframe them for the most part. Like, always having to ask for permission is silly. First of all, we don't ask, we talk to each other. We give each other the respect. You give your spouse the respect of saying, hey, I'm going to be late tonight, or is it okay? Is it going to inconvenience you if I'm going to be late tomorrow night because I have a work dinner, or I'm going to be working late on this project, something like that.
Yeah, I mean, and we have that tomorrow night. I'm going to be on a podcast, and it wasn't asking permission, you know, can I please do this podcast appearance? It was like, hey, they want to record at 8 p.m. at night. The kids are asleep, but like, are you good if I run back to the back room and I'm inaccessible for like an hour? Yeah, which of course it is, but it's considerate to ask the person who, you know, you're going to be leaning on in that time to pick up some work or whatever.
And the reverse is, I also feel empowered to tell you if it's not okay. You know, like, I'm not asking you to ask permission, you're just telling me, but I also know that you have given me the room and the love and the grace to tell you, hey, listen, is there any way we could reschedule this? Because I've had something on the books for a while. Did you not see it on the calendar? Or I can't be here for this. That actually just happened to us a couple of weeks ago, where there was something on the calendar that you missed, and I had something scheduled and we had a conflict. So, and it's 9 times out of 10 is a non-issue.
Considerate communication isn't begging for permission. And I feel like that's a really immature way to look at it. And it generally comes from that same group of people who are kind of immature in relationships, if I can be quite frank.
It's funny that you use the word immature, because that's where I feel like that you're never going to do something fun again comes from.
Yes.
Because people are equating what you're doing as a single person as fun, and that's it. So you're assuming that you're going to want to do these same activities while you're married.
Yeah.
And it's like, listen, there was a reason I was doing some of the things I was doing when I was single. I don't want to be doing these things. It's like, if I've got 100 fish at the house, I don't want to be fishing all day. All right, I'm good. Like, it's hot. There's
I'm
bugs, getting motion sickness.
You got worms
like,
that you're dealing with. There's all sorts of issues.
I'm good. Like, give me the AC. There's a game on. I'm a happy man. Let's cook the fish.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to be there.
I say that about like going out, and I'm like, can you imagine there's people who leave the house to go out at like after midnight? And that sounds like torture to me.
If I leave the house after midnight, it's because one of our kids has a really high fever.
It's a medical emergency that's compelling us to.
100%.
Yeah.
And
that's how we want it.
Yeah. I mean, we don't want a medical emergency.
No. God,
that's how we want to live our life. So, like, for the immaturity level, it's like, because you haven't considered the alternative.
And also, I feel like people look at it from the perspective that they have now, not understanding that your wants change as you get older.
Yeah. Or as you find someone, like, your wants change. Like, hey, like, I found the person I want to spend my time with, so I don't need to be going out to these things, because I don't need to go somewhere where I can't hear people anymore. I don't need that in my life.
No.
Like, first of all, I've got things to say. I'd like people to hear me.
Yeah.
So let's start there. When I was 25, I was very fortunate to be places where people didn't hear me. Okay? That worked to my advantage.
You would have been canceled for life.
Yeah, no, that was a big, big W for me. Like, that was an assist, right? Like, that. Thank you, speakers.
Right.
Because I could only imagine the looks I would have gotten.
I remember the last bar I went to, or the last club I went to, and I was like sober, and it was before I knew you, and I was with a group of people. It was so loud. It was so annoying. I was getting spilled on. I was like up against speakers, and then I was bumping up against people. Then it was time to go, and everybody was like drunk, or, and I was trying to wrangle my friends like I was herding cats. And it's like, you couldn't pay me to be. My feet were sticky the whole night. And God forbid you drop something on the floor. It's gone. I don't even want it anymore. I don't want to know.
There you go. But, let's not even talk about just the stickiness of the shoes.
Yeah, I can't.
So, but
disgusting bathrooms. It's not glamorous, guys. It's not exciting. We're not missing anything. If anything, I have compassion for people who are out there in that life, because I feel, and I'm not going to say this, but I feel like they're missing out on a lot. Like a beautiful relationship.
It's fun while you're there. Because I'll tell you why it's fun while you're there. Because I don't want to disparage people that are in that life right now.
Yeah.
That's not right either. Because you still have the unknown ahead of you, and that's exciting.
That's true.
That's fun.
There's that hope of like what's going to happen.
But guys, guess what? It's awesome when you get there.
Yeah.
So, like, you're excited about the unknown, and it's even better when the unknown becomes known.
Yeah.
So why would you yearn to go back there?
Yeah.
Once you have the known. So that's what's so cool about it. So I think, like, all these little sayings and stuff, they're silly. And then the one partner for the rest of your life, we don't need to dive into it. It's so dumb. It's just dumb.
Well...
All right, go ahead.
I have a metaphor for it. We're talking sex here, people, and I can barely contain.
You're talking sex here.
I'm talking sex here.
I'm tapped out.
So just buckle up, because I'm gonna try to make it through this metaphor as best I can, and as unawkwardly as I can, which you can tell already. It's gonna be struggle city for me. Okay, one partner for the rest of your life. So I love cooking. I love eating. So I only have food metaphors most of the time.
Oh my God.
Okay, so here we go. I want you to imagine that somebody tells you that you can only eat the same protein for the rest of your life. Let's take chicken breast as the example.
Really? That's what we're doing. That's what we're doing.
No, because it's the most boring protein. It's the most boring food.
Okay, let's do it.
Okay, so you've been told the only meat, the only protein you're allowed to eat for the rest of your life is chicken breast. Not chicken, because then you could do chicken thighs, you could do chicken wings, you could do rotisserie chickens, deli chickens, you could do eggs, because technically that's a chicken. We're talking like a chicken breast. That's it. The most boring piece of meat. That's all you get to eat for the rest of your life when it comes to protein.
You've clearly thought about this.
It's been formulating for a while. Let's see how it manifests now that I'm speaking it out loud.
Oh boy.
Lord be with me. Okay, so here we go.
Lord be with me.
There's two options here when it comes to eating chicken breast for the rest of your life. You can boil it and under-season it. Eat it at the same time with the same side dishes every...
Am I chicken breast?
No. Honey, this is not the point of the... No, this is the argument that it's boring to be with one partner for the rest of your life. This is not a... I'm not diagnosing you as a chicken breast. Just bear with me. So, okay, you can have it as plainly and as boringly and as routinely as you possibly can. Or there's another option. You can say, I'm going to eat chicken breast for the rest of my life. And it is going to be amazing because there is going to be nobody on this earth, by the end of this, nobody on this earth is going to be able to prepare chicken breast like I can. I'm going to fry it. I'm going to bread it. I'm going to grill it. I'm going to turn it into chicken tenders. I can ground it down, make it into a patty. I can do, like, you explore all the things you can do with it. And like, not in like a weird way. Like
this sounds pretty weird.
I'm not talking like props, although if that's what you're into, I'm not judging. I'm just saying, there's two ways you can look at this. You can do the worst, most boring preparation of chicken breast every day for the rest of your life. Or you can say, this is amazing because I get to explore and become the best preparer of chicken breast. All I'm trying to say is I cook your chicken breast and I do it. And this is not how I plan to say this. This isn't working well for me. It is awkward. But I hope you're getting what I'm saying, where it's like, can we become experts at intimacy with one another? Can we explore all the sides, all the facets, all the aspects of how to prepare a chicken breast and what that might be like?
And what I'm trying to say is, how on earth could marriage be boring when you live with this? I get this for free, guys. This entertainment. True. It's like vaudeville.
That's true. You're welcome.
And on that note, it's time to answer the internet.
Yes, please.
Yes. Somebody else.
Somebody else bring content here.
It is not about chicken breasts. Hi, James and Trish. I love the show. Or they did.
I almost did a spit take. Please don't make a joke when I drink. Then it really is going to be like a vaudeville act.
My mother-in-law is coming to stay with us for a few weeks, and I love her, but she can be a little judgmental at times. I don't want to insult my husband, and usually for a day or two I can handle it by myself, but how can I let him know I will need his support this time? Thanks so much, and God bless. Don't make chicken.
If you do, just don't talk about it. Yeah.
All right. So this is actually.
I'm blushing on top of the blush.
This is pretty. This is common. This is a good one
because this is a good one.
We could all relate to this to a degree. Mother-in-laws, father-in-laws, in-laws, friends, people, really just guests. You know.
Yeah.
My man Ben Franklin, who's my guy, has a saying. Fish and guests stink after 3 days.
Yeah.
You know, so...
I think you're summarizing it, but yes.
I am. But,
paraphrasing.
You know, you could overstay your welcome. So anytime you have a guest staying for more than a little time. So I'm not picking on mother-in-laws at all.
No, and I love my mother-in-law. Yeah. So anything I say is more generalized. But what I'm going to say is... and I know we can't rewind time, but I feel like this conversation with your husband... should have perhaps taken place before agreeing to the several-week visit. Like, that would have been the ideal time. But similar to the old Chinese proverb, the best time to plant a tree was yesterday, the second best time is today. Let's have the conversation today. let's talk about it in present tense of what it's going to look like now.
Yeah. So I would, if you're going to, I'm assuming that you've never had this conversation in any context.
Yeah, it sounds like there's been no hinting.
So you're going to come out, and you're married, so this is going to come out of left field because you've obviously had a relationship with your mother-in-law for quite some time, so your husband's probably going to be hearing this for the first time. At least that's the assumption that we could have.
Yeah.
So there might be some, I don't want to say blowback,
a gentle
shock.
approach.
So I think it's important to maybe come with a few examples.
That's good. Specific examples.
Specifics are going to be important because
he's going to want to know.
Yeah.
And if he asks for it and you don't have any examples, not that we need to ruminate on these wrongdoings of somebody else, but it's like specific examples will help contextualize what you're talking about so that your husband can kind of look out for it. Like if it's every time you're making chicken breast and she's saying, honey, I think that's been in the oven too long. And maybe then at dinner time, your husband and his mother go for a nice walk with the kids or just alone. Like maybe they go into the other room and watch the news. I don't know. Just keep them away from the chicken breast.
So if I was in a coaching session and I was doing like a role play here, what I would probably suggest is to come with some examples, but I would also come at this with a lot of grace and explaining that you do love your mother-in-law, that this isn't an issue. It's just, you grew up in a different house. You were not used to the types of comments that get made. She might not even mean anything by it, and maybe say it affects you differently than maybe that she even knows. So it's, you're not even blaming her for it, but over the course of a few weeks, you don't want to become resentful. So anything he can do to help, maybe jump in if he hears it at the time, things like that.
I would also say, again, bring specific examples. If you love working out, if that's like an anxiety releaser for you, you could say to your husband, like, hey, I'm going to make sure I get to that cycling class on Tuesdays and Thursdays while she's here. Like, you're going to need, like, we need to account for that because I'm going to need to go and be outside of the house, and like, again, I think if you have specific requests or specific examples of what may help you, I think that is also helpful to bring to the table because that's going to give him. So not only is he hearing the information for the first time, but now he's expected to manufacture these solutions.
That's a great one. Finding time for yourself in this and using that as the help is probably even more important than the intervention.
Obviously pray, ask for grace for yourself, for her,
Perfect. I love it.
Yeah.
All right. Good luck.
Good luck out there.
Write us in, let us know how it goes. Oh, we're doing this?
We're doing it.
All right.
You told me to do it. I'm doing the kitten wave.
All right. That's all the time we have. I'm at James Fenimore _
I'm at Trisha Fenimore, and you can find the show at HOLY MATRIMONY __.
And it's the Fenimores on YouTube and Rumble. We'll see you next time.